Since the dawn of YouTube, there have been many different types of YouTubers. There have been those that show their face, those that never show their face, and also some who ask people to subscribe. Which, I mean, I'm just saying, we're almost at 400,000 now. But in 2020, something new happened. We started to see a lot of VTubers flooding YouTube with their rising popularity. So now it's 2021, and I wanted to try something new once again, but instead I ended up doing the equivalent of putting a fancy paper bag on my face. And it's kinda creepy. So then why did I do this? How did we get here? Well, since I started doing YouTube, I've been in the crowd of those who don't show their face. Doing a face reveal has been a scary thought for me because I'm not really sure how it would affect my day-to-day life. So instead I opted to just make videos where the highlight of the video is the content itself, and not necessarily me. But earlier this year, I mentioned in a video that I wanted to start streaming, which I still haven't really done yet. Most streamers that I watch show their face on screen, and it becomes a big part of their content. Since this was out of the question for myself, I started looking into other options. Earlier this year, I considered trying to do something similar to CodyCantEatThis. She uses a motion capture suit and some facial recognition software to animate a character model on screen. To me, this seemed really cool. It was just as expressive as any other streamer that shows their real face. Wanting to try it out for myself, I looked more into it, and found out that it was really expensive. All of the cheaper alternatives were still pretty pricey, and people in my audience didn't really seem to be that into it in the first place, so I just dropped it entirely. I didn't give another thought about it until much later when I randomly decided, you know what, maybe wearing a helmet would be pretty cool. I figured that there were already a lot of people who wear something like this, like Marshmello, deadmau5, and Daft Punk. But the only problem that I saw at the time was that these people were all music producers, whereas I'm a game developer. So naturally, I looked to see if there were any game developers who did something crazy like this, and to my surprise, there actually was. Some of you may have heard about the Nier franchise. In both the original Nier and Nier Automata, there's a character named Emil. Due to circumstances in the games, he ends up with a unique appearance with a circular head and an unsettling smile. Now let's look up the creative director behind the Nier franchise, Yoko Taro. Despite seeing a grown man wearing a really creepy mask to cover his face, my brain decided, yeah, this seems like a great idea, and I decided to try it myself. I didn't know how to make it myself, and I don't own a 3D printer, so I started looking for someone who might be able to help me. The first guy I found was Designs by Perry, who I think makes the official helmets for Marshmello and deadmau5. However, he seemed to be really professional, and I wasn't sure if he'd want to make a custom helmet for someone like me. So then I found another guy who makes all sorts of helmets. Brave Helmets Inc. makes a lot of things ranging from unique Marshmello helmets to TV helmets, as well as custom requests, which is what I was most interested in. I contacted him, and he agreed to help. He kept me updated on the progress of the helmet as it was being made, and it was really cool watching the process. He had it 3D printed, sanded it down, put some primer on it, and had it painted. It even has a helmet inside of the helmet that lets you adjust the strap to fit your head size. While waiting for it to be finished, I ordered some new clothes to wear along with it. Taking inspiration from the fact that Marshmello dresses in all white, I decided to buy an outfit dressed fully in red. The character from my game is completely red, so this seemed like a really cool idea to me. And if you're confused, yes, this is the same game that before I said it was cancelled, but I decided to uncancel it, and now I'm working on it again. Once I finally got it in the mail, I had to spray it with something and let it air out for a few days because it had a really strong smell. After a few days, it finally got to the point where wearing the helmet was bearable, and I tried everything on. And that's when I realized that I wasn't really sure what I was doing anymore. I couldn't really tell how I felt about the costume. Something about it just felt off. Regardless, I still spent the next few hours trying to adjust the lighting in my room and messing with some camera settings, but something about it always looked wrong. My cheap Brio webcam had a hard time trying to figure out the red colors, and everything just looked really bad. And I realized that in general, the helmet probably wouldn't be a good idea for streaming anyways, because it will only ever have one expression, the creepy, unchanging smile. Don't get me wrong, I think the helmet looks great, but wearing it in certain contexts just doesn't really make sense. On top of that, it's a little difficult to see my monitors while wearing it, so reading text on screen is pretty difficult. So I don't really know what I'm going to do with it yet. Maybe it'll look cool as a decoration in my room, or maybe I can dress up a mannequin with it, but at the very least we can get some quality memes out of it. But I think for now I'm just going to stay as a faceless YouTuber. And before I go, I just want to say that I'm planning on doing some streams to remake the original Pokemon games but in 3D. I've been making a lot of videos where I take a game and make it 3D, so I was planning on doing Pokemon next, but there are about 151 reasons why I think it'll take a long time, so I decided streaming it might be better so there isn't a several month gap until the next upload. I'm also setting up channel memberships and emotes, so be on the lookout for that. Alright, see ya.